It's been a week that they was come back, and he could see the wedding preparations were going on. Both houses were busy in shopping, but they was quiet, not interested in anything. His soul was this time getting hurt. The thought of losing him again was killing him. The ceremony was on Friday, and on the next wedding day, or fixed, he didn't show up today again, as he was testing himself to how far they can go and bear all this. But it ended when Friday came. In just an hour, it just going to accept someone else as his wife, and here they fell dying. He can't see anyone in his life but himself. Taehyung, here's your dress. Get. Jimin's word was stuck in his thought when Taehyung pushed him aside and rushed out of its house with the card case. Where are you going? Jimin yelled from the behind, but they didn't stop and answer and sat in the car, driving toward Jungkook's home. His tears were taking down his cheeks. They didn't want to lose him this time, and had to say that what they can see in his eyes. He thought, stopping the car in the porch. Everyone looked at him shocked at what they was going here. Where's Jungkook? They asked you, who opened her mouth to say something, but they didn't listen him and rushed toward the stairs. You turned and saw Jimin and Yoongi and the young parents enter the house. All looked at each other and shrugged their shoulder. Sighing, took their seats. All waited for Tae to calm down, but Jimin stepped toward the stair. Tae reached in front of his room, and without knocking, they pushed it and entered the room. Jungkook, who was busy in wearing his shirt, turned and was shocked to see him. What are you doing here? He was amazed while buttoning up his shirt to look at him, who was fully dressed in black suit. His personality was looking so adorable that they just kept looking at him for some time. Taehyung, what are you doing here? He said again, going closer to Tae. Yes, wedding day, and I can see how happy you are, getting ready for your bride. Tell me, is he more beautiful than me? They said, holding his collar. Why can't you just say that, what I can see in your eyes? Or you think you'll stay happy with that boy? They asked. I'll be happy, because he's a nice boy, he said, making them look at him with grief and pain. I think what I'm looking in your eyes is a lie. Then you won't say it. Your eyes sing, and now I think they're also lying. You don't have anything to say. And I was just like a crazy boy who think that maybe you. They paused as he was looking at the craziness and love for him. Why don't you, Jungkook? Why don't you? They cried and rested his head on his shoulder, and he felt his hand as he can't see they crying like this. His tears were hurting him, and he was standing there helpless. They moved back a few seconds later and was about to say something when Jimin entered. Boy, you won't let anything to happen. To stay surprised what kind of bride you are. Don't have patience. They turned on the voice of Jimin as entered and went closer to him. What are you talking about? They asked, shocked on his word, and was so confused. Yes, you turn to right side. Don't look at him before your wedding is. Jimin said while holding Taehyung and looked at him out of the room. Jimin, what? They was dragging by Jimin, and he didn't let him talk. Taking his to your room, he placed the dress on the bed and looked at him, who was standing confused. Get ready to be your Jungkook. Jungkook blasted a bomb of happiness on his head and hugged him, while Tae was again busy in crying. Okay, now stop crying. Hurry up. Jimin said, and he nodded. Jimin left from there, and they fell down on the ground and cried more. He looked at the things were placed on the table as he went closer to them and took his dress and kept looking at him unbelievably. Taehyung hugged the dress, and he once got to believe on. What was going to happen was not a dream. Taehyung, you entered the room and saw him standing still in the same position. You're still crying. Go and freshen up and then change the clothes. Your groom is ready, and this bride is still busy in crying. You posed with the perfume while saying a beautiful smile touched his lips as he heard Jungkook as a groom. They took a shower and changed into that white dress, standing in front of his lips or only smiling. They slipped his earring in his ear at the same time Jimin entered and smiled looking at him. They gave a light touch up to his makeup and keep looking at Tae. My brother is impatiently waiting for you, Jimin said while making his eyes watery, but Jimin didn't let him cry. It's time now. I do, they said, while tears and shaky voice. I do, I said. I felt lighting around me. Everything went so clear to my heart. It's actually happened. Congratulations. The noise spread around, and soon everyone started congratulating me. Jimin, I called him and he walked toward me. Thank you, I said, because it's all happened because of him. He called Taehyung back and talked to our fathers about our marriage. He hugged me. I want to meet him, I said, and Jimin looked at me. He nodded and held my hand, taking me out to that grass. We walked to the room where Tae was. Go and meet your crazy boy, he said, and walked from there. I was standing there still thinking to enter. Without knocking, I pushed the door and entered in. Closing the door behind, I looked up. There Tae was looking like a fairy. They was still crying, and I was going crazy for him. I took a step closer and did hey. Why you come now? They asked, still sobbing. I thought to tell you that about the boy I loved, I said, and his feet were fresh on where he was. I can see fear on his face but they didn't know what I was talking about. I love him. Since his eyes keep gazing at me for 25 minutes, I start to taking slow step toward Tae. I love him, since he said, and I was keep quiet. The day when he looked at me before closing his eyes, since when his fragrance was stuck to my shirt, and I would wash that shirt to feel his fragrance around me, since when he was playing and his fingers were moving here and there. I loved the way when he cried in pain, and it gave me pain to see him like that. Since the night he bought coffee for me, I loved that since the morning that when we bumped on the stairs, since when my fingers were tangled with his hair, and I loved that he said he loved me. Every time he looked at me and I fell in love with him. And now, when he is looking at me, I'm feeling myself falling again, falling for my Taehyung, who is my life, and I love him crazily. He said and stopped in front of me. Angry with me? He asked, and I was just lost in the word. He said a few seconds ago. Many tears were escaped from my eyes, and I nodded. I will not let you talk to you, I said while crying. You sure? He asked, and I felt a tear escape from my eye. Why didn't you say that earlier? I held his shirt and asked, looking at his teary eyes. Because I was waiting for the time when I could all my heart out with full rights on you, he said, and I paused and back in anger. 5 years you took. You know how I lived? And you know how I lived without you, he said, and I looked at him who covered the distance between us and cut my face. I died every day without you, and now I want to live my life, my whole life with you, he was saying, and my heart was believing on it. I love you, John Taehyung. I love you so much, he said while looking deeply in my eyes. But I hate you. I cried more and hid myself in his arm. I was saying and holding him tightly. His arms were held me, and then I felt a peace that ran in my body. But I love you more than anything. I heard him and smiled with happiness. I said, and feeling his heartbeat, we kept hugging each other with love, and all the pain of these years were faded away. A wave of joy and happiness ran in me, and my lips were just smiling. We were lost in ourselves when the door opened, and our siblings were cousins entered. We pulled apart, and they whistled, making me shy. Oh, bro, not bad, Yoongi said, and I felt more nervous. On all the way were looking at us. Cook, leave him for today. Tomorrow is going to come in your room and your life. Jimin teased Jungkook, and he smiled. He is my life, he said, while kissing my forehead. He turned to them who was clapping, making me shy more. And don't tease him so much, Jungkook said to Jimin, who walked out of the room with all the boys. I sat there on the bed with a bunch of happiness in my heart. I closed my eyes and thanked my Almighty for blessing me so much. A month later, hey beautiful, I said as he went closer to Tae and wrapped his arms around him. Hey handsome, they said, while wrapping his arms around his jaw and leaned back on him. Where are you lost? He asked, who was looking at the full moon, who was shining with making everything beautiful. In my Jungkook's thought, they said, making him. It's been a month of their marriage, and they were so happy together. I'm here to close you, he said, while kissing his cheeks beautifully. I know, they said, and closed his eyes to feel that closer to him. You didn't get ready for the dinner party, he asked, and they all were invited for a dinner party by Mr. John. I don't want to go, they said, making him smile. And why is that? He asked, and they turned to him. Because they paused and wrapped his arms around his shoulder and looked in his eyes. I want to be with you, they said, and circled his arms around your waist, pulling him closer to him. Oh, is that so? He said, and pulled it completely in his arm, and they nodded with a simple smile on his lips. Suddenly the started ringing. Without taking his eyes off his, he took the mobile out of his pocket and received the call, but still, keep in his eyes. His finger was touching his ear, pinching the nose, making him smile. Yes, they said, as he out near it. Where are you, dude? We all are waiting for you too. Yoongi asked for other two side, but Jungkook was lost, looking at his beautiful wife, who was taking his heart away with a smile. You're not coming, he said, making him happy. But why? Asked Yoongi. But Jungkook fainted completely and looked at him, who was smiling beautifully. I'm not feeling well. We're not coming. As the words were pressed from his lips, they moved, and pressed his lips to his gave him a shock. Picking his lips beautifully, they moved back and tried to stop his giggle. Oh, okay, bye, Jungkook said and ended the call. Blush that on his cheeks, he threw that mobile on the bed and pulled it closer by his wrist. You're going to be punished for this, he said, and making his heart to skip its beats. But I didn't do anything, they said, innocently blinking his eyes. Let me tell you what you did, he said, and next second he crushed his lips on Tae and making him smile. Both were start killing each other with love, with passion, and on the sky moon was happy for their union, or their love, which was all their pain, tears, love, and now that witnessing their happiness and union.